Well, hello, good morning and welcome back. So, our Lucy's Story Autumn Folk Journal is finished and making its way to my Etsy shop. In the meantime, I've plucked out fabrics for a new journal. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit different with you this time. So this is just one of these envelope things that has the bubble wrap inside for protection, but it makes a lovely noise and it's got a nice bit of padding. So I've got some pattern paper. Now I'm sure you've all got an envelope like this. If you haven't got pattern paper, you could use patterned tissue paper, anything like that. And then I have chosen basically 4 fabrics. This is just an old pillowcase, and this is going to be my base fabric. And then this is part of an old dress. Actually goes that way. That's going to be my second layer of fabric. And this is a top that I'm about to cut up, and this is going to be my top layer. So we got 3 different colours, 3 different layers, and then I just want some of this. I'm not sure yet actually whether I'm going to put this perhaps sort of under there to get a 4th layer. We'll see how we go. Okay, so I'm sure you've got some bits of fabric that you could use. If you haven't, you can very definitely do this in paper. Doesn't have to be fabric, it's just the route that I'm going. So having broken open my envelope and glued down the bubble wrap, because it tends to be sealed in the edge rather than to the paper, so I've just glued it to the paper. I'm going to pull out my messy mat. Excuse me. And the main reason I want this paper is because I want to disguise some of this bright yellow of the envelope. Now, if your envelope is not this bright orange and it's more sort of white, then that's fine. You will probably not even need this layer other than for aesthetics. So glue stick is all I'm using. I'm getting my pattern paper. You see, this has even got a little note on it with some washi tape. That's where somebody sent me. So we'll pull that off. And I'm just going to screw it up and pop it down. Give us even more noise and texture. Okay. And then I'm going to do the other side in exactly the same way. That's that bit. And then I'm just going to use a bit more, this one with all the writing on, which is quite interesting. And I'm just going to pop this down as well. There we go. And then I'm going to turn it over. Rough tear it. Got a real sort of shabbiness going on, which is awesome. helps create all our layers. There we go. And then I'm going to do exactly the same on the other side. So I'm going to run my glue stick all across the bubble wrap, up that side, and the bits we've just torn off can be the first bit. Whoops, doesn't matter, because obviously that is what we want, really. And then this bit. And then we go on the other side. Okay. Awesome, yeah? So I'm just gonna glue this corner because this is not stuck together. That's better. And now I'm going to take my scissors actually no, let's take the ruler, and I'm just going to tear away. So I want it overhanging, but not quite as much as it is at the moment. There we go. So we've got this really lovely jaggedy paper edge. Okay. A bit more glue under there. Just any areas that you feel have not got glue under, and just add a bit of glue under there. Then I'm going to come down this side and tear off this. Sorry, I forgot, didn't I? How are you? What are you up to? I hope you're well. As always, I'm grateful to have you with me. If you've not been here before, then a big fat welcome to you. Okay, so we've got this lovely messy edge. I don't know what else to call it other than a messy edge. Just gonna put a bit more there where it's revealed its orange again. Okay, get rid of all those pieces. We don't need any of those. And I'm just going to build the rest of the cover now. Oops. So that's that's all gone and out the way. Don't look at that empty fudge box that I ate when I was sitting here yesterday. Okay, so let's fold it back in half just to remember. Now, the bubbles are the inside. This is the outside. Okay. Just one little bit there, look. Right, okay. Right, I really am finished with that now. So now we're going to measure out a fabric. So we can see, I'll turn it over this way, might be easier for you to see. There you go. I'm going to measure out our fabric, and again I'm going to get a rough edge by tearing. Sorry, I just punched you in the face, didn't I? Putting my arm right up there. Do apologise. Sorry about that. I sometimes forget you're up there. So, we want a rough edge here. I'll do it down low. Okay. So, that's going to sit there. So now we want to rip that off there. Got plenty of fabric to use for something else. Right, so pulled all the strings out, and now this is going to go on there like that. And because it's fabric, I think it's nice that you can see the pattern pieces, you know, the print on the pattern paper underneath. So I'm using Trimix fabric glue. This is my most favourite fabric glue of all time. To me, it's better even than 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac or any of those. This is my most favourite fabric glue. It's a bit of a struggle to get out sometimes. Like that. And then I'll just take my spreader and spread it all around. So we haven't got any blobs. It's fairly evenly spread. Covers the surface. Okay, and let's pop down our fabric. So even where you can see those little blobs, that's going to dry and you won't see it. But also this is only our base layer. So our next layer, excuse me, see, it's because I haven't got a cup of coffee on the table. This is what happens. Our next layer is going to be smaller. We want each layer to be slightly smaller. So I'm just going to trim off the seam, and I'm going to go quite wide away from the seam. that one, and then we'll trim off here, because obviously again we've got a seam. Now this is obviously our front, so the front is where I want the bigger piece, like that. And then on the back, so on the left hand side, I'm gonna add in that piece there, and on the front I'm gonna add this piece like that. Okay, so we've got our tissue paper, we've got our pillowcase, we've got our lace dress, we've got this pillowcase topper there, so we've got all of these strings going on. In fact, that might be nicer because we've got more strings on that side. And now I'm going to take this grey, almost ticking like fabric, and the easiest thing to do is just cut this sleeve off. And then, having cut the sleeve off, I'm gonna, where is the seam? There, cut down the seam so that we've got a flat bit of fabric. Like so. And then what we want is a piece about 4 inches, is that? Ish. Don't know if this is going to tear. Oh, it is. Awesome. And then obviously we've got the arc of the sleeve there, which we don't want. So I'm just going to tear that off. Okay, we don't want that edge because that's the seam, so we'll get rid of that. Oh, that's not going to be so easy to tear because it's going the wrong way, so I might have to basically cut it and then just tear off that little bit. And then this piece is going to run all the way through the middle, like, no, it doesn't tear that way, Claire, you learnt that just now. This is going to turn all the way through the centre like that, because what it's now doing is it's covering up the bottom of this piece and the top of the piece that's over there. Okay, so that's going to sit like that. So when we fold it over, we have got all of these layers going on. We could maybe turn that under and make like a pocket there. So let's glue these down. So the first bit is the lace. And I'm just going to use my spreader again. I won't be putting this through the sewing machine I might, which is why I'm not worried where my glue is, I might put some hand stitching through it. So it's going to sit there like that. And then obviously we've got our, I'm just wondering actually if doing one there and one there is a waste. I wonder if we can get away with doing it. Oh. It's another one that doesn't want to tear. Either that or I've not had my shredded weight and I'm not strong enough. No, I really can't tear it, so. But we can pull the fabrics. And then if we put that one that way, and we put this one this way, when we put our bit through the middle, we're still going to see all of our layers, so that's fine. So get some air in the bowl. We'll flop that on there, like that. We'll put this one down here. Get a nice roughed up, shabby chic going on here. Although shabby's usually pale and pink and this green is quite dark, but it's still that kind of feeling, isn't it? Put that one across there. And now we're going to do this bit. Let's get rid of all these spider's web strings. Now, I said about turning this corner in. So I can turn that over a bit like that. And now we want to go down the edge, up there, and now we can go all around this bit again. Like that. Whoops. Get rid of my strings. More strings. They're all sticking to me now because I've got glue on my fingers. And look what I've done. I've stuck the wrong corner down. How did you know that was going to happen? It's because I had it upside down. It's that corner. Leave me alone. Going a bit mad, slowly but surely. So we're going to have a pocket in there. This will dry. It's one of the beautiful things about this glue. Even when it comes through, it just dries. Whereas the others I've found leave all sorts of marks. Those marks are going to disappear. I'll show you that in due course. Okay, so we got this lovely set of layers going on here. I think that's beautiful. We'll cover the inside later. This really needs to be put down so that this glue can set up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on something to go on here as our very top cover. So top, you know, our topper. We're going to set that down so that that can dry. So I'm just going to move it up there, and I'm going to work on making a top for that. So I think what I'd like to do, because it's all fabric, is I'm going to pull out a heart stencil or template, and I'm going to use a piece of this. In fact, it's going to be too big, so we need to fold that. Okay, so I just want to fold it like that so it sits on there scruffy on top again. And I'm going to sew to that a heart out of this. So fabric pin. Now every single thing I've done so far you could have done with paper, so please don't be put off thinking, oh, I don't have any fabrics, I can't make what she's currently doing. You 100% can. It will all work with paper. Okay, so there's a template gone. This heart is going to sit on there. Okay, so we've got that real rich green in the lace, so I thought it's not quite right, is it? I was going to use that thread. I suppose the other thing is, do I use the silver grey? I'm going to use the grey. So then I just want a random piece of this. To sit across the heart like that, and then we're going to find a button. I mean, you've seen these things done a million times, I'm sure you have. There's nothing new here. Especially, you know, in the journal world, there's nothing new here at all. So I'm just going through my button box and seeing, it's totally the wrong colour. Oh, look at that. Now It's a bit scratched, so I've lost a bit of colour. The only trouble is it's one of them. I don't really like them. Don't like sewing with them, but it is a beautiful big button. Let's have a little rummage in a minute. There's another one, but again, oh, that's even better, isn't it? That's the one, even if it does go that way. So now this thread is not necessarily going to come into being, so all of that doesn't really matter, because we need a little tiny needle to go through that hole, and I don't think that I've got one small enough that will take this thread, and it's a bit pointless because you're not going to see it. So as you're not going to see it, I'm just going to use good old-fashioned black sewing thread. Oh, it's very warm this morning. Poke that through there, she says. Always easier said than done. Okay. Nearly punched you in the eye again there, didn't I? Sorry. Okay. So, coming through. Just do a couple of stitches to ensure that we're properly through. And then, well, you all know how to sew a button on, don't you? Goodness me. In fact, I would have thought most of you know how to sew a button on far better than I do. We've pulled a bit of the actual spider's web there. Right. Because I've told you before, me and buttons, we don't really get on. Especially these sort. I bet somebody's got a tip about sewing these buttons on. If you have, I'd love to hear it, because I know I haven't. All I tend to do is come back through the fabric and then back through there, which I always feel doesn't give me a very tight hold, if you know what I mean. I mean, it's on there and it's probably not coming off because of the amount of layers that I tend to do, but I don't feel like it's, you know, the ideal way, which is why I don't sew buttons on clothes. It's my excuse anyway. I think it's sort of just bend it and try and find the hole. Bit of a nightmare. I know I'm making a right hash, and I. See, it's quite. I feel like I don't ever talk to you anymore. It's 'cause I'm always semi-concentrating on what I'm doing. And as I said to you the other day, I haven't really been anywhere or done anything, so there's not really anything to tell. Right. That's had 4 good pass throughs, so I think that's going to be okay. Now we've got a knot. Right, so I give it one last tug and then just fasten it off is what I do. And then we'll do our 1, 2, 3 wraps. Put it through. There we go. So there's my button on my lace, on my heart, on my scrappy piece. And that is going to sit on there like that. So we've got this multi-layer. So there you go. There's the beginning of our new journal. As always, I'd like to say a huge thank you for joining me. Stay safe. I'll see you very soon. Bye bye for now.